Alright, we're going to bump it up to a small map size because that seems to have been working a bit better in these two-man games. And I don't see any reason to change it for now. No need for Masquerade or AI players. Let's go ahead and get started. This is interesting. Look, guys, there are all kinds of options I haven't really looked at here yet, but still. Oh, it actually started at 225 this time. I wonder if that's higher because we're 2 people. Anyways, when I looked at it earlier, it was 150. Let's take an actual look at the map. Not seeing a whole lot of iron. We can see that right away it tells us how much iron there is and the fact that it's all low, so not really looking at using the iron in this game, potentially, if we can avoid it. Instead, we'll be looking at all this carbon that's available, which unfortunately is still not good. Just both of those base resources we don't have good access to this game. There's not even a good trio that we can see for science. We should look at what else we can find, though. There's a trio of silicon that's usable. A little bit of water. Water's not looking too great either. Alright, Pb's gone ahead and founded Expansive. He's going to grab up 2 of the irons and a decent aluminum tile. Tell you what, we will probably just go Scavenger in response. Waiting just a little while. As we can see, Pb has 155,000 in debt. We're to the point where we're going to have no debt on our found. So we'll see how that plays out. Go ahead and grab some decent carbon. Some adequate carbon, I should say. And some aluminum for ourselves. And see how effectively we can push to that upgrade. Well, I guess we should buy up aluminum for the time being, since it's fairly cheap for the moment. Alright. So this is very interesting because Pb has a $4 stock price and we have an $11 stock price. As you can see, the stock price at a base level is much, much higher than it used to be. So we don't really have to worry about gaining debt for a long, long time, potentially. And we can maybe push a bit harder on the auctions than he can as a result of this. We didn't really sell our silicon yet. That might have been a bit of a mistake. We could have sold it a bit earlier, but I don't know how much money we would have made off of it. Alright, we can upgrade. I think that's probably a good idea to upgrade. We're going to go ahead and get this water claim down, because that's clearly the best water tile on the map. We could push for something with the black market. Probably not going to bother. Let's go ahead and start the water pump. Superconductor sounds okay. We're going to make some use of that. Come on, PB, you want more debt? You want more debt? 157,000 already. How high are you going to push that? We could potentially even go for 2 water pumps. Another option is securing some of the admittedly only barely adequate silicon on the map. Maybe prepping for some glass in the future. We do also have 3 whole claims available. We could just do something real stupid like push for immediate farms. I don't know, I don't play a whole lot of 1v1 these days, guys. It's kinda awkward for me. I'm not sure exactly how to approach it. I'm almost tempted just to go for the double water pump. This keeps him from ever getting a water triangle down, I think. And then we can also just go for a little bit of silicon. We'll go ahead and sell what we have down. And then we could even just go for this last carbon tile. It's not a good amount of carbon, but it might be enough to make the difference. PB has actually gone ahead and sent that glass price. We actually took the claim. That's unfortunate. I wanted to go ahead and put down a glass furnace because what PB has done is sent glass through the roof by buying up as much as he could possibly manage, and that's going to make it much more difficult for us to get to an upgrade. As you can see, we're pretty much having to sell down everything in order to do it, but it does give us a pretty easy transition later. I have to get out of vent because I've actually been in vent this whole time, just not talking to anybody, and nobody's been talking to me. There we go. Tell you what, we might even want to put down a glass furnace fairly soon. Or even just another silicon quarry, knowing that that's our plan later. Could work out reasonably well. Now we're just pushing for that upgrade. He actually moved out of his iron, which is just fine. It's his problem if his iron tiles aren't doing anything for him. Our carbon tiles still are doing things for us, so that works out just fine. Keep selling that water. He's actually going to move into power immediately. It's understandable. He has a ridiculous amount of debt. What's he going to do? Alright, we got to our expansion about the same time he did. I bet he's trying to move into what? Glass? Yep. He's trying to move into glass. We're moving into glass as well. Both of us in very similar positions so far this game. Unfortunately, my carbon is a bit more expensive, which is working against me right now, because it makes it just a little bit harder for me to get into these glass furnaces. But he's only at 1. We're pushing into 2. We'll get to 3 before long. Interestingly enough, you can see that build timer a bit more easily now. And then at some point, we'll be able to actually sell down some carbon, get into something like the black market, perhaps. And we are just a little bit ahead of him in this area. We'll need to watch it, though. Did we? Yeah, we did get down extra silicon production as well. We're both kind of evenly matched there, as it turns out. Everything's looking just a little interesting. Very even this game. But he is the one who had a lot of glass stored up. So you'd think he'd maybe have a slight advantage right now. Especially because he is expansive. Also, I'm noticing that when he upgrades, it feels like he is getting a really big bonus to his stock price, and so perhaps founding so early will still work in his favor, despite the ridiculous amount of debt he acquired. I'll just take his silicon for all I care, and then I'll stop selling it and force him out of glass if I can.
Pirates. I hate those.
This also takes if he ever decides to put his iron back down. It'll take his iron. I'm really feeling like a new claim couldn't hurt too much right now. And I also feel like I want to keep selling out of glass rather quickly, because we're both making it, and I'd rather be the one making the profit. Oh, he actually went for a power surge, whereas I went for a new claim. Well, that was very aggressive of him, but he could pull it off, so I'll give that to him. We could go for an EMP ourselves before too terribly long. Obviously, with carbon actually making us money for the moment, it gives us a lot more options. And I'm hoping the new claim still manages to pan out overall.
Black market is online.
Go ahead and grab an EMP. We also managed to hit his aluminum with that, so it's not the worst thing in the world that we had to take an EMP instead of a power surge. Okay. Well, don't really want to buy glass at the moment, because he is making glass. Really would like to push for an upgrade before too long, actually, which means mostly just sitting around right here for the moment. He's moving into farms. He has the extra claims for that if he doesn't want to make steel. It's going to be a good play on his part. We're looking for an upgrade in order to be able to do the same thing. But it also means that we can do something stupid, like go ahead and put all of our money into buying up water to kind of reduce the profit of his farms. Unfortunately, it's not going to have much of an impact because farms make a really crazy amount of money, but we'll do something. Okay, we need about 13,000 to upgrade. If we sold everything, if we sold down the water, we could pull it off. I don't know if we could both upgrade and move into farms, though, to counter his farms, which is almost certainly what we want to do. We could simply sell down everything and then power surge his farms, then upgrade. And from this point, look at getting into our own farms.
Should be proud of our guys.
Our glass is coming back online. He has $19,000. That's kind of a scary amount, but he can only purchase so much black market to send at us. He's not a scavenger. And so maybe it'll be okay. The thing is, I almost certainly want to go ahead and get to a goon squad for these.
The black market is online.
Just to make sure that no crazy shenanigans come out and cause me too many problems.
To the highest bidder.
Alright. Let's see. He's still on about 200,000 debt. We're up to 97,000 debt because we've been ignoring power and food and so many other things for quite so long. It would probably be, it might be a good idea to move our silicon in particular into some solar panels. I believe we also have superconductor that we haven't really made any use of yet, but we'll have the ability to later. We'll just set these aside for now if we do manage to take them, I think. And let's see, we can't actually afford them right now because they cost, well, money, and we don't have any of that. But there we go. Alright, power coming online. Unfortunately, nighttime's on the way, but the silicon's really not worth anything anyway. So I don't think it's all that big a deal for the moment. It will mean that his silicon... Oh, he's actually done the exact same thing. Moved out of his silicon and into power. That's amusing. Now we got the last of his silicon. Unfortunately, those pirates aren't doing anything for us for quite some time, but we got a nice profit out of them anyway, so I guess that's alright. Oh, thank you, PB. Appreciate it. Well, we can hit his glass. I'm tempted. Let's do it. Let's buy another little power surge for ourselves. And I think we're in a good spot. We are making more money than he is. His stock price is not particularly healthy. I'm tempted to start making this move. Our glass is going to need to turn offline fairly soon, but we can simply move it into reactors. I think we'll be in an okay spot still. In fact, I think we'll do that now. Whoa. That was a weird scrap sound. Alright. I just wasn't ready for it, but that's okay. I think he may be right that that's the game, but he still has a shot. It's not over completely. He's actually connecting up his iron so we can't steal it, which is a good call on his part. He's also working to pay off his debt by adding more and more and more power, so that's good on his part as well. Let's go ahead and toss down that power surge once again. And I think we'll just grab up another one to hit his iron and steel as well. We still have a good amount of cash coming in from all of our production, so I'm fairly comfortable in spending all of that on the black market. He's only sitting on about 5,000. He's making very little money. The glass not doing so hot, just 18 a second per tile. The silicon would have been his best income, but he doesn't actually have it down right now, instead opting for power. And so that's why we're feeling reasonably confident at this stage of the game. And if it ever comes down to it, we can likely transition into an upgrade for ourselves fairly easily. Most of those resources are fairly inexpensive, and hopefully we'll still be okay. Only 3 more stocks left to secure before the end of the game. But yeah, that's kind of the downside of founding that early. And we waited till the point where we actually, I don't think, got any debt whatsoever off of what we were doing. Although, honestly, it also kind of comes down to the fact that I actually managed to catch his EMP. That was kind of a big deal.
8,000, 9,000, 14,000, 16,000.
Alright. What are we looking at for chem labs? Oh, the chem labs look different now, guys. If I have the opportunity, I'll put one down this game. They're reasonably profitable at the moment, but obviously chems kind of tank super fast, so I don't know if that was actually worth 24,000, but I can throw down another water pump, so I'll take it. Another little stock. Only 2 to go. He's still not making a whole lot of money. He's got reactors going down of his own. So that's good for us because it's also going to beef up water consumption, and we've already got a lot of water coming in. So even though that kind of hurts our farms and our reactors, we got into all of those first. We made more money. We've got the long-term water play available. We can also potentially move our power on into silicon. If we're not too worried about him retaliating against our stock, it would be a very reasonable play. We can upgrade if we want to, but instead we're just going to go for the kill. I'm actually going to go ahead and scrap these and move into silicon production to make absolutely certain. The reactors, we could maybe move them. It's not necessarily the best call, but chems are good enough that I'll go ahead and do it so you guys can look at the new chem lab. Oh! 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 I just had to get after him for that. Alright, there's your new chem lab, guys. Let's go ahead and clean up the game. I like it. Honestly, I like the new chem lab. It's nice in my opinion. And that's going to wrap it up. So that's the new reveal map mode. Rather than just revealing the map, it adds that bit of debt. We can kind of see the difference between myself and PB. He got down sooner. His stock price was way lower. That's the balancing factor in it. I'm very interested in this game mode, mostly because it's very similar, if not exactly the same, to something I kind of proposed going into the game to replace how the game's founding actually works. But it's going to take some tuning, it's going to take some figuring out and some practice, so I'm hoping a lot of people will be willing to join me in using this mode once it's available on the live version of the game.